Most days when I'm in my house, I tend to play video games, as well as 2.2 billion gamers that exist currently in the world. But I always wonder why our parents, TV commercials, and even movies suggest that playing videos isn't the best option to do in your free time. There are games that are considered violent games, such as GTA, Call of Duty, and much more. All of those games have something in common, which is that they all either kill, steal, or hurt people. A lot of people think that because we play such violent games, we're most likely to become violent ourselves. All of that happens thanks to the idea that we are seeing violence every day, and that violence will become normal for us in our daily life. That is not the only type of video games out there. There are many types of video games, such as action, adventure, roleplay, simulation, and much. In the world of the video games, there are different types of games. I'm going to talk to you about the benefit that your brain can have by playing sport games, such as NBA, Madden, or FIFA. First of all, people who play these games are most likely to be conscious about the rules, the strategy, and the tactics. Surprisingly, the adolescents who play sports more frequently were also more likely to play sport-themed video games. More importantly, they also found sport video games play predicted greater involvement in sports over time. The adventure video games, such as Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, have different things to learn about it. A person who plays about 50 hours of action games saw an increase of level of multitasking, the ability to perform two or more tasks at the same time that comes from the brain. And adventure games require the player to divide attention between targets. This increased ability to multitask effectively. This type of games help making a faster decision than one who has not. But have you ever thought to yourself, are video games really bad for you? Well, in my personal opinion, I think it depends on what type of video games are you playing, because it isn't the same playing Minecraft that playing Call of Duty. The reality is that playing video games cause your brain to release dopamine. Okay, yes, and what's dopamine? Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter which your body makes and your nervous system uses to send messages between your nerve cells. Dopamine plays a very important role in how we feel pleasure. It's a big part of our human ability to think. It helps us strive, focus, and find things interesting. I believe that dopamine is good for the brain because it helps you to learn and it helps you to the concentration. But it's also the same chemical release when people do drugs, such as cocaine. The World Health Organization defines a gaming disorder as a pattern of gaming behavior characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over the interests of daily activities, and continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occur of negative consequences. In other words, if you can't stop playing any games, League of Legends, Madden, GTA, because you're stressed about the finals you could have in the video games, you might have a problem. The best way to do is put the game down and study. If you make a habit of avoidance, the problem you will ignore will pile up and consume you. But the main problem here is when you play too much, because in those cases you could develop a gaming disorder. Video games can also teach important skills or address serious issues, promote the use of games for education and social actions, and often involve young people in the creation of games they can use to express themselves on important issues and current events. Recent studies have shown that video games can have a positive or negative effect on how players behave, depending on the context. Pro-social games can increase empathy, cooperation, helping, and emotional awareness, while violence games can diminish these traits. Male, female, young adults, middle-aged persons, all of those have things in common, and that's a game. And while getting older and wiser has its perks, there are also a number of natural problems that comes about as well. But just like maintaining healthy exercise routine can help your body feel calm, feel 50 when you're 60, such your brain can be shaped. In fact, a study at the University of Iowa showed that video games can do just that. Okay, in conclusion, I think video games are a form of media that is often associated with negative health consequences. However, when games are played in moderation and with mindfulness, they are a valuable source of stress relief, as well as catalysts for mental health improvement and development of social skills. Video games themselves are a different modern form of entertainment. Also, the amount of playtime is also an important factor in this effect of gaming, although excessive playtime can have negative consequences. Gaming in moderation can be healthy, fun, and educational. This is my TED Talk. Bye bye.